What is going on, guys? DBG here, and in this video we are going to be doing another of the series where I rate your squad. So obviously these are not the specific players in it. This is actually just my thumbnail from last week because I don't want to show the squad straight away, and I'm not turning on face cam because, man, I'm annoyed. I'm a Leeds fan. We just lost 4-1 to Leicester, so yeah, I'm not really in much of a mood to be showing my face on camera. Either way though, if you guys want me to rate your squads, tweet me on Twitter with hashtag #RateMyTEAM. Probably best to tweet me next like Saturday or Sunday, because most of the time that is when I will be checking Twitter for these players. Obviously this one here, October 24th, was from actually over a week ago. I just realized that there, but I'm still going to rate it anyway, assuming this guy has not changed. I don't know how I got to that, but either way, Saturday, Sunday is probably the best time. And follow me on Twitter if you guys want me to rate your team. So now, let me have a look at this team. Made a lot of improvements from last week. Still do pick and rolls like the rim run with Smith and Dre. Okay. It's got gold range, and Gray got gold range and clamps. Okay, what the hell is Joakim Noah doing in the team? Joakim Noah should not be in this team. I think who you have locked in. You've got Josh Smith locked in, Draymond Green. I personally went Draymond the 5, Josh Smith the 4. Oh, there's a lot. I'm trying to think of even who's locked into this team and in these collections, because your point guards are fine. If cards you've locked in, they're fine. I honestly would run Sleepy Floyd over Isaiah Ryder any day. Spreewell's really good. Chris Webber is pretty good, but I would run Webber at the 5, and I don't even know who you can run the 4. Heck, Bailey Howell's probably better than running Joakim Noah. Bailey Howell the 4 is nice. Like, this is a team that if I saw it, I'd be like, yeah, this team's probably a like 7.5 out of 10 maybe. Costs a hell of a lot of MT to get and a horrendous value, but yeah, around 7.5k out of 10, or around 7.5 out of 10. I really don't even know what other players you have in your collection with that as your team. Okay, so rate my team. No money spent, 21 delay, pick and pop, hawk screen and pass, easily the best set. 21 delay, I haven't had much success from 21 delay this year, not gonna lie. I've not had much success. So, Richie Guerin, Reggie Williams, Micah Cooper, Jeff Green and Cat. I actually do like that. I'm Donovan Mitchell and Guerin as your 2 point guards. I actually think that's nice. And then you've got a defensive player in Bev as one of your last 3. Paul George, Kerry Kills, Andre. I mean, if there's someone you can replace Kerry Kittles with. Kerry Kills is kind of the one kind of downside in this team. I'm not sure who you can even put in. I like Jeff Green. Jeff Green's nice. AK is pretty good. AK is probably too expensive for what he is though, but he's fine, I guess. Andrea Bargnani has got... He's obviously a really good shooter. Bargnani, Cat. Your point guards are fine. Your centers are fine. For your MT, Reggie Williams is fine. I'd even though he doesn't have clamps, just to give your bench more offense, I'd probably put in Eric Gordon. Move Paul George to the 3. Just to give you some sort of offense off the bench, because your bench really has got no offense except for a pick and roll between Donovan Mitchell and Andrea Bargnani. But I'm not gonna lie, this team's not that much worse than the last team. It is really not that much worse, especially if you play similar. If you play like a 5 out or a 4 out 1 in. So I'm gonna give it it's like a 7.5-ish out of 10. Not awful, not spectacular either, but again, with how much of a budget squad this is, you can't get much better. Okay. No money spent. Have 570k. Trying to keep. Actually, just let me. No. They are similar level. I think they are similar level. And 570k. Trying to keep the team as cheap as possible. Run Hawks freelance, so 5 out. Are heavily on defense, playing lanes. Okay, playing lanes with Diaz is a bit of a rough one. Get the most offense from D-Will and Steph. D-Will and Dio have key badges and gold. Okay. Let me have a look here. Steph, Lowry, D-Will, perfect. They are perfect. I really like D-Will the 2. And then having him off the bench. Lowry's really good as well. Cooper's a locked-in defender. Winters is more than fine. Dio badged up as a god. I mean, your team's fine. Like, this is an 8.5 out of 10. Maybe even a 9. because people don't realize how good that Lowry is. Like, in terms of point guards, that Lowry is not far off. I'm not going to say he's as good as a Stockton, but he's not that far off a Stockton. Obviously, Steph's in a world of his own. Then Darren Williams is the next best. Like, you have the two best point guards in the game, and are really good when Kyle Lowry. And I do like running the 2 point guard lineup. That is the way I prefer playing the game, especially with D. Will, because he's got that 6'10 wingspan. Michael Cooper, lockdown defender, decent shooter. Bruce Bowen is knockdown, as well as being a lockdown defender. Badged up, Boris Diaw is a god. And Rafe LaFrance is nice. Off your bench, I don't know. I genuinely have never played Bob Love. I've never played with him, but just knowing like his stats and badges, he is pretty good. But yeah, I don't really know with him. And there's no one else really you can get. So like if you don't like him, you've got Jeff Green in there. But this team's quality. This team is quality. This is pushing a 9 out of 10. It may not have the greatest players in terms of the look of the squad, but man, this team is so good. This team is so good. No money spent with no MT. Run Hawks 2018 pick and pop. D-Will, Boris, and Mike. Ooh, Mike Dunleavy badged out is a beast. If you guys don't know, trust me, Mike Dunleavy badged out is a god. So D-Will, Dio. So you've got a badged out dude on the bench. I definitely would run Dio at the 3 and Bailey at the 4. Just saying. Bailey's so much better rebounder. But that starting lineup, it all depends, and again, on how you play. Because for some people like myself, Larry Bird is a god because of just the way he shoots the ball. But for other people, if you like to play defense where you play lanes, Larry Bird's awful because he's so slow. So he's a weird one because it all depends on like what type of player you are and like what way you play with Larry Bird. So I assume the fact you're running Mike Dunleavy and you bought a badge of Dunleavy that you're a guy that relies on shooting. So your point guards are really nice. Your 2 centers, again, we've got no MT, so there's no point. They're the 2 best value centers in the game. I really like Badge of Dio. I also really like Larry Bird. Kawhi is a really good defender. Bailey Howell's a pretty good defender as well. I definitely put Bailey Howell at the 4 because he's a better corner shooter than Dio. As well as that, he's a better rebounder, so I will put him at the 4. And then your 2 guards are perfect. So this team, it's not as good as the last team. I'm going to say it is right now. It's not as good as the last team, but it's not far off. It's like an 8.5. And the funny thing is, you'd be like, oh, I'm giving 8.5s to Tweezley. Like, you don't understand that Andrea Bargnani and Rafe LaFrance are 2 of probably the 6 best centers in the game. The gap between Bargnani and, let me just say, in terms of primary centers, the gap between Bargnani and Mikan and Ewing, who are probably the best 2, is so minuscule that you can argue Bargnani. Like, the gap between these 2 guys and the best of the best is probably this gap between a Cat and a Porzingis. And there's still debates over which of those 2 cards is better. I'm telling you. Those 2 guys are the best value players to go with this year. Okay. Let me have a look at this team. 50k to spend. Have gold range on Stockton. Bronze on Smith. At least silver clamps on everyone but your centers. Have Bill Russell for mid-range and centers. 3 points shoes on AK on basically your whole team. Can upgrade or downgrade anywhere. Okay. I'm wondering where the old MT is coming from. But yeah, Steve Smith even on bronze range is fine. I'm not the biggest fan of Dave Bing, but you do you. If you like him, keep him. I hate Al Horford with a passion. But trust me, Bargnani's so much better. Bargnani is so much better than Al Horford. I get it, Horford is bronze clamps, but Bargnani is so much better. I like Dunleavy. I like Kurolenko. You've got at least silver clamps. So you've got silver clamps on Dunleavy and Lou Hudson. Lou Hudson's a beast when you put clamps on him. He is an absolute beast. His release is quality and his jump shooting is nice. Stockton's fantastic, especially on gold range. So with this team right here, the one position I'm not a fan of Dave Bing. Like, in general, I think Donovan Mitchell's just objectively better. As well as that, not only am I not a fan of Horford, I hate that card so much. Like, Bargnani is, again, objectively just better than Al Horford. So, they are the changes that I would make if I were you. This team's, again, an 8, 7.8, 8 out of 10. It's fine. Mostly drive and kick to open shooters or pick and pop. Sleepy is half quick for his step, and Cooper has gold quick for his step. Ray Allen has half catch and shoot, and Kristaps has half corner specialist. Have about 20k read like Kristaps now. To be fair though, if you can get your Kristaps to hit shots in the corners, he's a beast. I'm iffy on Ray Allen even with half catch and shoot, because his shooting's not the problem. What I would do is I would move Bailey Hell to the 4 off the bench, and I would start the Busher, because the Busher is very small, the 4 at 6'6", whereas the 3 he can kind of, because he's got goal clamps anyway, he can survive at that position, and it gives you a little bit more rebounding on the bench. Your centers, if you like Porzingis and you have half corner specialists, he's actually good. And Bargnani's really good as well. AK is pretty good. Again, like, none of your cards are bad. Like, the only players that I would maybe say to switch are maybe like a Ray Allen, but half catch and shoot Ray Allen, if he hits everything, you might be able to hide him. Donovan Mitchell's good. It seems really good. It seems actually really good. Like, I can't, especially with that badge on Porzingis, I can't not give it a 8.5 out of 10. If you know how to use these dudes, they can do a lot of damage. 8.5 out of 10. Okay, bully down low at bigs and kick to open shooters. Sometimes use Hawk, freelance, and run flares. Okay, should I sell Mashburn and get Keenan instead? Currently have 20k MT. D-Well has gold range, Dio has bronze range, quick first step. Mashburn has bronze range and silver quick first step. Okay, first of all, I don't sell Mashburn. Mashburn is not good. And instead of buying Keenan, buy Jimmy. Sell Mashburn, buy Jimmy. I'm very iffy on Wiggins, especially if you are on the Ruby token reward board. Just go and get yourself Reggie Williams. He does the same thing as Wiggins. I like Wiggins. I don't think he was worth keeping. I didn't even keep him for nobody's spend squad. He was just not worth it. Then Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Bob Lanier. If you like to play bully ball inside, Lanier is not bad. It's just an interesting tactic. So that's the way you play. Keeping Lanier is definitely the best thing. Byron Scott, assuming he's not badged up, you really need to replace him. Pat Bev, trust me, if Byron Scott doesn't have clamps, just put in like Pat Bev or something, or not Pat Bev, even put in I can't even think of his name. Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is definitely better than a non-clamps Byron Scott. I would definitely replace Wiggins and Jamal Mashburn. I would try to get the Reggie Williams card, which is on the Ruby token board. Jamal Mashburn definitely for Jimmy. And other than that, though, not a bad team. Not a bad team. It's not really much of a team that I'd run, but let me just give it a 7.6 out of 10. A few weak links that I would exploit if I was playing the team, but not a terrible team at all. Nobody spends saving tokens and 300k MT. High run offense primarily with badged up Byron Scott and badged up Michael. Ooh, badged up Byron Scott. Lovely thing to see. You love to see it, don't you? Badged up Byron Scott. Okay. Oh my god, no. This team is almost really good. There is just one player. There is just one player. One player that when I see on the floor, I start celebrating. Isaiah Ryder. One of the worst cards in this game. Eric Gordon is good at the 2. Get yourself, if you don't want to pay a bunch of MT, get yourself Jeff Green. Do not play LaFrance and Bargnani together. I like both of them. Do not play either of them together. Get yourself a Jeff Green and a Jimmy Butler. If you put Eric Gordon at the 2, Jimmy at the 3, and Jeff Green at the 4, you've spent 23 or so KMT, and you have made this team significantly better. Your starting lineup is nice. Those two badged up guys, the 1 and 2, are perfect. Brian Winters is good, Diaz is good, and Cat's good. But man, I'm sorry. That bench lineup, there is no 5-player lineup you can run there that I wouldn't look at it and think, I've won. Like, if you go into team select menu and I see that on your bench, I think I've won. I'd be worried about starting lineup, and as soon as I see that on the bench, I'm like, it's over. Isaiah Ryder needs to go. Eric Gordon is fine, but you've got to surround him with defenders. You have Kyle Lowry and 3 guys that can't play defense, and then a center that's pretty decent on defense. Then Harden and Spud Webb. I would make sure to replace Isaiah Ryder with Jimmy. Move Eric Gordon to the 2. And then try hide Eric Gordon on defense. And then getting in Jeff Green at the 4. You've paid almost no money and your team gets significantly better. But this team is a... With that bench, I can't give him more than a 7 out of 10. I can't give him more than a 7, maybe a 6.5. Nobody spend freelance Hawks, play mostly 5 out and 3-point plays. George, small forward. He defends a power forward. Is a tactical choice to get Pierce defended by a power forward. Okay, perfect. Almost all the players have match badges and have diamond shoes, mostly 3-point shoes. Okay, I was about to say, how much MT is the cost? You've got 700k. You've got Pierce, so obviously you can play a bit. I like your 2 centers. You probably get the 2 best bigs in the game. Unless you're a Bargnani user or a Paul or a Ewing user. They're probably the 2 next best. Larry Johnson, if he's fully badged up, he's a god. Dominique is a god. Dude, this team's like a 9.5 out of 10. This team is so good. This team like wipes my team, like would leave my team in the dust. If I can have this team, like that bench lineup, man. Stockton, D-Will, Dominique with range, Larry Johnson with range, George Mikan. Oh man. I'm honestly, and then John Wall in your starters. John Wall's unguardable. Clay doesn't miss. Paul Pierce, again, apart from shooting from the corners, he's quality. Duncan literally can't miss in the corners because his badges. I don't think it's quite 10 out of 10. And let me tell you the reason why. There is no Steph Curry. That's it. That's it. Actually, no. Like, 10 out of 10 is literally the best of the best. This is not quite the best of the best. Like no offense, LeBron James is better than Larry Johnson. But he's just ridiculous price. I'd rather pay the 80 or so K for Basil Blary than pay $1 million for LeBron. Paul George is Vince Carter. Is T-Mac. Deserves to be on the team over Clay, probably. But, yeah, no. I'm going to... It's like a 9.5. It's not quite like 9.8 or higher, but 9.5 is fine. No money spent. Started playing a week ago and playing for Mikan. Clamps on Byron. Sniped Stockton for 50k with gold range and dead. That's unreal. Hall of Fame Showtime. That's a big one. If you guys know the effect of Showtime, it's huge. Gold Deadeye and Green Machine on Gordon. Willing to swap. Anyone now have 50k to use. Okay. First of all, move Dino to your bench as your backup center. You badge up Scott? Okay, clamps on Byron, keep Byron. Move Dino to the bench and put in Jeff Green at power forward. He suits the power forward position more than Dino. And honestly, as much as I do like some of these players, I don't like Pau. Pau is definitely not a card I like, and I think Dino is fantastic as a center. And then if you have Jeff Green, you've got another shooter there surrounding John Stockton, who is fantastic. Obviously, the bench is good, and this team's like an 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, it's a budget team. Yeah, you've got... Why is this team... Obviously, if you sniped the Stockton for 50k, this team is probably 100k then, if you include the 110k. So it is a relative budget squad. Man, this team's nice. Again, I would much rather use... Actually, no. Or even if you want to keep Dino there, just get LaFrance. I keep forgetting LaFrance exists. So, LaFrance is your backup center, or if you want more speed, Dino is your backup center, and I think Jeff Green at power forward. It keeps your team budget, and it is a really, really... gives it a little bit of an upgrade. But this team, for a budget, for 1 week, can't say anything bad about it. This is a fantastic, fantastic team. So, yeah, I think that is it as far as I'm aware. Yeah, that's it. That is all of the teams. So anyway, that is the video. This is another episode of the series where I rate your squads. I do one of these every single week. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.